Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're really late for the hearing. I'll say that much. Welcome. Shout out to everybody. Welcome. I'm waiting for the people to get in here. I know we just started, so that is okay. We have some news. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, guys. I don't know if notifications went out. We live now. We started definitely late. I'm not surprised. We're gonna wait for the people to get in here. It's okay. I still have to drink my coffee. I'm a little late. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me let the people know. Everyone. Good morning. We live now. Shout out to everybody. Everybody, shut out, shut out, shut out. Happy New Year's. It is still New Year's. Technically, it is day 7 of the new year. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Come through. Come through. Shout out to everybody. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little slow today. Now, I didn't think that they were going to do a press conference, but apparently they are. You shut that down real quick. Apparently they are going to be doing a press conference. I'm not really sure. So shout out to everybody. We are very late to the news, and that is okay. Let me give you guys the latest. So today we had Nick Reiner's hearing, my understanding, okay? And he was supposed to be arraigned for the murders of his parents, okay? However, Nick Reiner's lawyer withdraws and arraignment is delayed. So they're still kind of waiting. I guess everybody, I'm not late. They're late. Maybe I'm a little bit late, but not too late. So Nick made his second appearance in the Los Angeles Superior Court Wednesday, which is today, but he's facing additional delays in the proceeding around the murder of his Hollywood parents.
Good morning. As you know, my name is Alan Jackson.
Let me shut up.
This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that. We wish him the very, very best moving forward. And that's all I have today.
Whoa. Well, that was very intriguing, very interesting. What?
And another thing.
What? Yeah, I mean, that's a huge mic drop if I've ever seen one, right, Jay? Member for 2 months. Shout out to you, love. I don't know. So who is if it's not Nick Reiner? Or are they still talking? Hold up. Or are they moving? What are they doing? Who are these people? Oh, he said leave the mics up there. Okay, we're not done, y'all. We're not done. Let me make myself smaller. I was not expecting that at all. They're not done. Who are these people? What? Didn't they say leave the mics there? Hold up. Oh my goodness. Hold up. They look like they wanted to speak. What happened? Why did they remove the mics? Oh my God. Well, okay. So then here's Harvey. Apparently he's got some inside scoop. Let's get into that.
We have learned that Alan Jackson, as I speak right now, the hearing has not started, but Alan Jackson will go into court and he will withdraw from the case. We are told that no plea will be entered. A public defender is going to be appointed. Now, that doesn't mean the public defender is going to handle this case from this point forward. Based on what I know, there is a real chance another lawyer is going to come.
Hold up. Here we go.
I believe last night or yesterday that we were being substituted in.
Family
I'm going to let
speaking.
Ms. Green answer that.
Briefly this morning, but we haven't had a chance to discuss any. I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning. He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversation. I have not. We'll discuss that with Mr. Reiner and see how to proceed.
I think it's a public defender.
Not at all.
I could be wrong.
It's not uncommon for private counsel to turn over cases to us, so no, nothing about that would complicate the situation. I have talked to him for only 30 seconds, so I have no idea. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning. I have no comment about his message. I have not. We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on until this morning.
At this point in time, Ms. Green will look into the case. We'll speak with Mr. Reiner. And if you have any further questions, reach out to our media team once we have more information ourselves. This just happened today, and my understanding is he was aware of it. Ms. Green spoke with him, as you heard. And as soon as we have more information that we can share, we will share it.
Thank you. No further questions at this time. Thank you.
My God, look at Becky's right there. Look at Peachy Becky's right there, y'all.
Any further questions to our media?
Look at Peachy Becky. Y'all see Peachy Becky right there? Sorry, I had to yell that out. I see Becky in there. Oh my, y'all see Becky? All right, y'all tell her that we see her. Wait, I want to go back to the speech. Let me go back to it a little bit. So this is the public defender. Okay, so Alan Jackson said what that was 3 hours ago. He said what he said, and then hold up. This was the court hearing earlier. Ooh. Okay, hold up. Here we go.
2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those the court will issue body attachment and hold it until the next court date.
And
9.
thank you. We have no objection to counsel.
That's the judge.
The fact that both have graciously submitted to jurisdiction with regard to 4 and 10. We think that's appropriate.
Thank you. Once again, the court will issue and hold 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Thank you.
Until the next hearing date. And
Does the court have a list?
It does. The court will seal that list as well.
We ask people to have a copy or
We've
Not
asked
yet.
that the court seal it specifically because it is ongoing defense investigator data or evidence that we recover or we get counsel on behalf of Mr. Reiner gets, and that is discoverable, will comply with all, or counsel will comply with all discovery obligations at that time.
Can you address the council's request to provide a copy to the people?
That's the point.
specifically?
We think that should not be done because that would implicate ongoing investigative efforts by the defense, and it would compromise Mr. Reiner's right to a fair trial and his right to maintain his investigation with some level of confidence or confidentiality, I should say.
But at this time, the court would just seal it until the next court hearing date.
Thank you.
And how else would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, at this time, I, on behalf of Worthington Jackson and Quinn, and with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel of record based on the conversation that we've had.
Why did he ask to withdraw? And all of that is probably going to be sealed. So this is the hearing, guys. I missed it. That's why I'm catching it up with you guys. The question is why? What happened exactly? Was there a conflict of interest? Whoa, wow. Okay.
In chambers, and the explanation we've provided to the court in chambers, we feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and has to be relieved. The public defender's office has been notified. We've had conversations with them. They are here. They're staffed. They're ready to take over. My understanding is they're ready for the appointment immediately, forthwith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kimberly Green from the Public Defender's Office. That is correct.
So the court will raise, and so that firm is relieved as counsel of record, and the court appoints the public defender's office to represent Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Current counsel turn over any items that they received.
We will
AJ's
absolutely
out.
comply with that. We've already begun the engagement has been met.
Your Honor, there's a protective order issued by the court in place regarding the handling of discovery. Order that's remaining in place for now, and we'll serve a copy of that on the public defender's office along with the discovery we provide.
Yes, the court will order that order.
Preclude me from giving, Mr. Bailey raises a very sage point. I'm under a protective order not to provide our discovery to anybody else. That would text providing the information only to Ms. Green in her office. Then I can be in full compliance with the protective order.
Anything to the people, any response to that request?
No problem. I believe the protective order spells out that it covers Mr. Jackson's firm as well as any successor counsel.
Thank you.
You can provide everything to Ms. Green.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Back on the record in People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25 CJC F08098.
So this is when she submits her entries. This is the public defender. So the public defender did speak to media. So I missed it. I had a lot of stuff going on this morning. So I had to, I'm running in late, right? And when we started, Alan Jackson gave a public statement that he's withdrawing, and that he further stands on the fact that he did not murder his parents. Okay, if that is the case, then who did? Because there's a lot of questions now that we have with this.
Good morning, Kimberly Green here at the
Public defender.
Office on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who again is present.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Khalid Bailey, representing the people of the state of California.
Thank you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, we'd ask to put over the arraignment one last time to February 23rd, if that date is appropriate.
That date is fine, court.
Thank you, and I will work with Ms. Green to get her discovery prior to that date.
I'll take a waiver for her. Entitled, you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel, Ms. Green from the Public Defender's Office, is requesting that your arraignment be continued to February the 23rd, 2026. In this department, do you waive your right to be arraigned today so that your matter may be continued to February 23rd, 2026 for arraignment? Thank you. Is counsel joining that waiver?
I do.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel of record joins in that waiver. Matter set for arraignment in this department, February 23rd, 2026. Bail remains at no bail. Anything further? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good point, Mary.
That one. So I'll loop it.
Okay. So this is when they gather. And then Alan Jackson gives this statement, right? Hey, Pika. Where was is Peachy Becky in the chat yet? Shout out to Peachy Becky. We saw her over there in the video. Hold up. We're gonna try to like hurry up and fast forward because we want to get to where Alan Jackson gives a speech. Now, Mary said something very important that I think is important to note too. He's not saying that he didn't murder his parents, is that he's not guilty. That's what okay, here's Alan Jackson. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
As you know, my name is Alan Jackson.
Here we go.
This morning, I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick. I'm legally and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind. We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests as he moves forward through the system. But be clear, be very, very clear about this. My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interests. In fact, we know, we're not just convinced, we know that the legal process will reveal the true facts of the circumstances surrounding this case, Nick's case. You know, a lot's been printed of late, over the last 3 weeks. A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print. On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder.
That's what he said. He didn't say he didn't kill them. He's just not guilty of murder. Thoughts? He said that they looked into it, okay? And then I was looking into reasons why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why a attorney is legally incapable of explaining why they can't represent a client or a person. In itself, it could violate legal and ethical rules. And so they can't really talk about that. But I do wonder if Alan Jackson or associates have represented the family in one way or capacity. I know that some of us think it's about money. I don't think so. And I'm not saying, I don't know what their finances are, please. I don't know what Nick's finances are, but I just don't think that Alan Jackson, given the reputation that he has, he would have just walked away from something like this. I mean, literally the man, he makes a lot of money on his cases. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't foresee him just being like, I'm not going to be paid for this. I don't see that from him. He already has a lot of notoriety out there. I honestly wonder if Alan Jackson and associates have probably represented family or something to that effect. So much that there's a conflict. Yeah, or he knows too much behind the scenes, but maybe they found a conflict and that's why they can't publicly disclose. You said, that's a great point, Rabbit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a high profile attorney, y'all. You know what I mean? So it's like he's represented the top cases and everything. I have seen this. If an attorney cannot pick up a case, and I'm not talking about some rinky dinky attorney, y'all. I'm talking about an experienced attorney who knows what they're getting themselves into. They're not going to put themselves in the middle right away before he even goes to court, which is what he did. I honestly feel like he wanted to represent him, but something else happened that made it so that he's not able to. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't know. You said, but Rabbit, you don't go from high profile lawyer to public defender. You don't. But I don't know if it's necessarily monetarily. I don't know. You said if he did pro bono, I don't know if he would have cared about the money. I who would walk into a situation like that knowing Alan Jackson to just sometimes lawyers, especially someone like Alan Jackson, isn't so much about money. You make your money elsewhere too, if that makes sense. But why a public defender? Why not another? That's a great question. It's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. This is what I'm speculating. I'm going to tell you what I'm speculating. I think that Alan Jackson decided to take this pro bono. Okay. However, there's a conflict. This is just speculation. Because I think that this is something that he would do based on his track record. I think when he saw this, he didn't expect that he would be, he's not walking into a situation. He knows that, his client is being accused of murder. So it's not like he's going to see money anytime soon. Please note that. I don't think that that's the case at all. I honestly think that he picked it up and he said, I'll pick it up pro bono. And then somewhere along the lines, he found out that there might be a conflict. And so because maybe family doesn't want to fork up any kind of bill, which I don't blame them, because I don't think I would as well. They have decided to seek a public defender. And that's why we're at a public defender route right now. That's my thought on that. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Speculation. You said, is the lady looking down at his nose at him? I don't know. The lady next to him, she looks mad, doesn't she? That lady, they both look really mad. Come on, lawyers, y'all can smile. That might be a legal way to say, yeah, maybe. You said, did Nick says, how are you, EH Bunny? Shout out to you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Did Nick's sister and brother show up at the courthouse? I don't think they did. They're standing behind him. I don't think that's them. That's not them. I don't think they showed up. Can you imagine the camera crew that would be there if they'd be all over them? If he is intertwined with the family, maybe pressure from the siblings to step aside something, because Alan Jackson has his own little thing. Who's to say that there isn't some kind of estate situation, where Nick Reiner's estate is being handled by this firm? We don't know that. Could very well be the case. Alan Jackson has a huge firm too. He just said, Jackson, yada, 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 and associates. I don't think that this is the only kind of case type that they handle. Anything is possible. You said he didn't realize he didn't have money. You think that he didn't realize he didn't have money. Gotcha. He said he's building a stronger case for innocence. Well, he put that out there, man. And let me tell you, you have a lot of people here, wrong, right, or indifferent, that are Alan Jackson supporters. You know what? Alan Jackson is a fantastic attorney. Okay. Doesn't matter if you like who he's represented or anything like that. He is a fantastic attorney. He's got a track record of being a fantastic attorney. So you can't really say a whole lot about him. He's built his reputation. He did it from the mud and he's worked, his ass off. You say he never got fully paid for defending Karen Reed. There you go. And some of these lawyers that take on these high profile cases or cases that have a lot of public interest, they don't typically always get paid for everything. I don't even think he's been there. I wouldn't surprise me if Karen Reed isn't able to fork up the whole bill. I just don't think that it's plausible. Yeah, AJ's like, hold my beer. That's right. There's a reason no one wants to take this case. I don't know. I do wonder what is I think there's a lot that we could speculate, but maybe the question that I have right now would be, when did they realize that Alan Jackson couldn't represent? Like, when was this? Sorry, I got something in my eye. When was this? Did they just decide this morning, yeah, we can't represent you, we're moving on, that's it? What happened? In my opinion, would have stopped him, except nothing would have stopped him. Gotcha. Except legally, right? There's something conflicting here. There's something conflicting in my opinion, but I could be wrong. You said AJ is at a stage in his career where he's less concerned about money than his legacy. Here you go, Robbins. I don't think that's my thing, is that if you understand Alan Jackson's career, you understand that this isn't about money. He can take on some of these cases and he probably doesn't even get paid for a lot of them, but he's set. You know what I mean? He's doing a lot of work. He's got a lot of lawyers that he's, working under him as well. So I don't think this is an issue of money. Now, is there an issue of money right now in terms of like finding a lawyer, appoint a public defender in the meantime until they can appoint somebody else? Potentially. We don't know. You said his siblings may be pulling more strings than we realize. Potentially, EB, potentially. You said, I think that if there's a conflict of interest, they would have found out, they would have found another lawyer. I suppose not if it was pro bono. Who's going to work for free? Pro bono lawyers, from what I have seen, the ones that I have known of, that work pro bono typically have, like, they have the time and the resources. If they don't get paid, they're not going to go broke over not getting paid, if that makes sense. So for me, it's like, I wouldn't necessarily, there was something that made Alan Jackson initially take this case. That's the question that I want to know. What was it? Because he had to have known, like, okay, likely this man's not going to pay me if he murdered his parents, like, because that's where the money's at, right? I don't think he just walked blindly in there and said, all right, this is what it is. Something happened. You said, don't they give their interns pro bono and AJ takes like the third chair? Interns need the hours. Yes, and you're right. You said, I don't think it's about money. It's something else. Yeah, something is conflicting here, Dr. Ed. I would agree with you. And he said he did not commit the murder. The words were said carefully. Yes, I think it's a conflict. I don't think it's about money. You said Nick may have not done it. I didn't see any scrapes or cuts on his face or his hands. E.H. Bunny, he looked very, very calm. You know what I mean? Like when he walked in that gas station, you would think that anywhere, if he's walking out of that hotel and he's bloodied up and everything, well, then who did it? And he was associated himself with, a bunch of people. It sounds like there was a lot in between with this whole situation. You said maybe he doesn't want to go down in history as the guy who got Rob Reiner's murder off. I don't think so. I don't even think that that's the case. When some of these defense attorneys, like I said, Agnifilo, for example, Agnifilo he defended Diddy, right? I don't think he necessarily cares about the fact, about that being an issue of that being in his reputation. He's a defense attorney. He's well qualified and stuff. These people get into the field and, get in the mud because they have to, and they do very well. And the reality is that I've said it before. Sometimes you might think that it's crazy that this attorney is representing this and that and the other. But until you're in that position where you need an attorney, you're going to want somebody like an Agnifilo, right? If somebody's accusing you of a heinous crime or the state is coming for you or whatever. But yeah, I could see this both ways. You said maybe Nick's family had a way to get him off the case. Ooh, okay. Remember that AJ represented Weinstein, among others. That didn't shy him away, right, Robin? He's represented a lot of people with some like damn. So I don't think he cares whether it's Weinstein, whoever he has to represent, he's going to do it. You know what I mean? Why are you apologizing? The emojis are fine. You're cute. It's all cute. It's all cute. You said Nick definitely did it. That's not in dispute. Insanity means he's admitting he did the crime, but he's not arguing it happened in the state of mind where he would have known what he did, period. Insanity is not innocent. Not necessarily. It's the state of mind that goes with it, right? It's the state of mind that goes with it. So here's my question. That footage that we all watched, right, the following day after the murders, when he was being arrested, he was walking into that store, just like Zen said right here, right? Zen said, he looked like he was like, he was fine or whatever. He was walking into the gas station, not bloody, not cut, not anything. I think he was E.H. Bunny who said it. What was the state of mind? Some of us, if you've ever seen somebody who has died or a horrific accident or a murder, whatever it may be, if you've ever been a witness to that, we tend to go to a state of shock, right? You would think that a normal person or a denial or something would have happened that would have allowed us mentally to cope with what we just witnessed. That wasn't him. He literally went to the store to go get a drink, and that was what the surveillance footage showed. It wasn't like, oh, he's crying. He didn't look like that. So that to me makes me wonder, number one, that premeditation, crime of passion. When did it happen? What was his state of mind? There was the party buildup situation. Keep that in mind. So there's like different moving parts to this that I think we have to pay attention to, right? I just don't know. If Alan Jackson say he is not guilty, okay, well, I think he's just setting up the stage for what the defense is going to look like. Alan looks pretty upset right now. Actually, I think he looks pretty upset that he's not able to represent Nick. I don't think that this was a choice that he wanted to take. If you see his face, I mean, y'all, I don't know. He doesn't look like he's crying, and then you got the other attorneys. The other attorney looks like she's about to jump another person out there. Her nostrils are flared the hell up. She's going like this. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, who are you going to jump? Look at her. So Alan looks like he's about to just ball out. I don't know. He looks upset. So I do wonder what this is all about. Hold on. I'm so behind the comments. Sorry, y'all. He said, I agree. He looks upset. Yeah, he looks very upset. Daisy girl, like, you see his face? Like, he looks like his eyes were watering up. You said it's because he's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. I think the siblings don't want to pay millions to prove Nick is crazy, says Darby. Oh, interesting. You said he'll be locked up in an asylum for criminal insane. And even if he's found not guilty by reasons of insanity, he'd be in there for years. Anyways, there's no out date until you're not a threat. Well, if it's like, yeah, I do wonder. I guess we'll see what happens with that. Thinking, lawyer fundamentally disagrees with client's actions, making the representation reasonably difficult. Yes, Stella. Shout out to Stella. You said, if that woman does Coca-Cola, she would do the entire 8-ball in one sip. Sorry. Talk about the lady that's mad. She just looks so mad. I mean, they look upset, right? You said all of the talk of not guilty by reasons of insanity is just speculation. A formal plea has not yet been entered. You're right. You're right, Robin. It is speculation in our part. We don't know. We're thinking that that's the route that's going to go because that's what's been portrayed out there between the schizophrenia, thing and whatnot. I mean, that has been a thing. His state of mind was, I need to go to the 7-Eleven. Ha ha ha. I mean, he looks upset. Yeah, he was at the gas station at least 14 hours later. Witchy warrior, right? Like he was. Did he look like he committed a murder? Did he have any cuts? We don't even know what his hands look like. He says, how do you, I'm alive, somebody allegedly, but not be guilty of murder? I'm confused. I misread your comment, my love. Make sure you retype it so I understand a little bit. You said, we need to know what the protective order is about. Information, contact with victims, or any family members. That is probably why he had to dismiss it. The protective order? Huh. You said, Rabbit, then why did Nick plead not guilty by reasons of insanity if he's not guilty? It doesn't make sense. Has he entered? Hold up. I thought this was just an arraignment. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Let me just check my notes real quick. This is an arraignment. Are we there yet? I think that we're still waiting to be heard, but let me know. Did he enter? Because I didn't think he entered anything yet. TMZ okay, I'm behind then, Soul. Sorry, I'm really behind. All right, so let's get to this, and then we'll talk to the public defender. We'll hear what we'll hear what the public defender has to say, and then we're gonna go to TMZ. I'm behind, y'all.
Print that.
Okay.
Print that.
Look at how upset he looks. I just think his body language is very telling. But let me rewind a little bit.
Everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests. We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front. What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California,
there it is.
Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that.
That's a mouthful right there. Pursuant to the laws, he could have killed him. But based on what he's saying, based on the laws, he's not guilty. Okay.
Print that. We wish him the very, very best moving forward. And that's all I have today.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Becky. She's right there. Hold up. Now we're going to go to the public defenders. So this is the public defenders. They were moving the mic and then they shut the camera off on us. Print that. He said, I didn't think that he would be arraigned today. I thought that he hasn't even pled yet. So I don't think he's even Sold. You said that the TMZ reported a formal plea. I'll check it out right now, but I don't think that he has. Not technically. I mean, they just removed, she just made her appearance in court and she just had her first meeting. They're probably going to ask for like a continuance or for something to be like reset or something. Yeah. No plea today, right? So that's the public defender, and I think that's the public defender's, this is their office. Oh, when he previously went to court. Gotcha. I didn't think that was entered, though, but I hear you. We're waiting.
Sure. Ricardo Garcia, Los Angeles County Public Defender. I'm here with Kimberly Green, the Deputy Public Defender.
And I think the DA is speaking too. So we're going to go to that as soon as this is done. Let me double check because I want to see if the DA, Nathan Hotchman, if he's speaking or what the issue is at this point. I don't see anything yet. We'll definitely be reporting on that if we get the DA on the mic.
Assigned to the Reiner case. I want to say that on behalf of the entire Public Defender's Office, we are incredibly sorry and understand the pain and suffering that the Reiner family is going through at this time, as well as the entire Los Angeles community. The Public Defender's Office and the entire staff, our hearts at this time go out to the entire family. We hope that the community will also understand that this is a challenging time for the entire legal process. We ask for your patience, your understanding as we navigate this process through the legal system, and that we will be available as we can be to address your questions when appropriate. Thank you. We learned, I believe last night or yesterday, that we were being substituted in.
Interesting.
I'm going to let Ms. Green answer that.
Briefly this morning, but we haven't had a chance to discuss any. I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning.
Yeah, if she has not met with her client, they're not going to make him enter any kind of plea quite yet. You said arraignment has been postponed again in February. The formal plea entered at the arraignment. Yeah, so we don't know yet. I think that TMZ is just speculating that that's what's going to be, but I mean it's a good speculation because a lot of us could speculate that there's going to be an insanity plea.
He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversations. I have not. We'll discuss that with Mr. Reiner and see how to proceed. Not at all. It's not uncommon for private counsel to turn over cases to us, so no, but nothing about that would complicate the situation. I have to talk to him for only 30 seconds, so I have no idea. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning. I have no comment about it. I have not. We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on until this moment.
Family didn't know.
At this point in time, Ms. Green will look into the case. We'll speak with Mr. Reiner. And if you have any further questions, reach out to our media team once we have more information ourselves. This just happened today, and my understanding is he was aware of it. Ms. Green spoke with him, as you heard, and as soon as we have more information that we can share, we will share it.
Thank you. No further questions at this time.
Thank you.
Wow.
You can direct any further questions to our media.
There's Becky. Shout out to Becky. Y'all, y'all see? Abraham, you see Becky back there? She got her white headphones on. She's right in the chisme. Shout out to her. Okay. I'm going to see, because I heard that Nathan Hotchman, the DA of Los Angeles, is speaking, but I don't see anything. I heard that he was. I just don't see anything being published yet. Now, hold up. Here's the deal. Because here we have, since TMZ is kind of the first at this point with the scoop, so Robin Michelle Reiner's murders. Alan Jackson says Nick Reiner not guilty of murder. So we just saw that, right? So Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hotchman says prosecutors are confident a jury will find Nick Reiner guilty of murdering his parents, no matter who he says, no matter who he has as a defense lawyer. Alan Jackson just held a brief press conference where he said there's one thing everyone can take to the bank. Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. We just heard that. So Jackson said the circumstances which he had to withdraw from the case were beyond Nick's control. Okay, beyond Nick's control, which to me, like I said, I think that there's an ethical thing. I think that he took this on pro bono. I don't think he was planning to charge Nick any, I'm just saying, speculation. TMZ broke the story. Nick was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, and there are issues regarding his meds that could lead to a plea of not guilty by reasons of insanity. This is what TMZ is speculating. And this was very earlier on when he made his first court appearance, but no insanity plea had been entered. And it sounds like they're going to have to reset everything again for February because he needs to meet with his attorney before he actually enters any kind of plea. So I think, and based on how connected Alan Jackson is to, a lot of the tabloids and whatnot, it wouldn't surprise me if this is information that was provided to TMZ, and it could be very well accurate, right? To say that he's not guilty, the only thing that I can conclude after that would be for reasons of insanity. However, he's also a defense attorney, so he's always going to say not guilty, right? Like that's the stance they're going to take because they're going to defend their client no matter what, right? You said maybe he jumped as an interim counsel, potentially. You said so he's going to claim the only thing in California where you can kill someone and not plead guilty. Well, there's other states that, depending on the crime, I mean, you could. A reason of insanity is stretched to other states as well, my understanding. You said Houchman already spoke. TMZ Clips has it attached to AJ's speech today. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. Thank you. I think it's in this article, right? First Liberties, let me know. You said that was rude. YouTube kicked me right out to close the app. YouTube is doing too much. They don't like us. It must be a conflict if the family didn't know this was going to happen. I think it's a conflict, Stinky Cat. I mean, it sounds like based on the defense attorney, I don't see, again, speculation. I don't think this is a money issue. I really, really don't. But we're speculating that he's going to plead guilty, reasons of insanity. Okay, let's keep going. And then it further goes. A spokesperson for the Reiner family released a statement on Nick's change of legal representation, saying they have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment further on this matter related to the legal proceedings. So they contacted the family, I want to say a couple minutes ago. Oh, here it is. Hold up. There it is. He's speaking right there. Give me 1 second. This is who I wanted to hear. There's the DA. So we're going to watch this right now. So this is after he said, take it to the bank and cash a check. All right, here we go. Let's play this.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County.
Here it is.
With me is Habib Balian. He is the Assistant Head Deputy of Major Crimes. He will be prosecuting this case. I'm here to make 3 points, and then I will not be taking questions afterwards. In our criminal justice system, every defendant is entitled to a lawyer who will zealously represent their interests and do so effectively. So too is Nick Reiner, whether it's Alan Jackson, someone from the public defender's office, or any lawyer. He's entitled to that lawyer, and we'll make sure he gets that lawyer. Second point, in the process of dealing with that lawyer, we will make sure, the DA's office will make sure that lawyer is provided with full discovery of all the facts that pertain to this particular situation, whether it's interviews, whether it's any type of video, whether it's any type of expert reports. We'll make sure that that lawyer gets the facts necessary to effectively represent their client in a court of law. And third point, we are fully confident that a jury will convict Nick Reiner beyond a reasonable doubt of the brutal murders of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner, and do so unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thoughts? Hold up. I'll be quiet. Thank you. Why isn't it? Give me
So
one
calling
sec.
People versus Nick Reiner, case number 25.
Mute site. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Let me share it again. Sorry. That thing is like, it just played over. I'm trying to quiet it down and it wouldn't let me quiet it. All right. What are you guys' thoughts? Thoughts? You said, very important. If you plead not guilty for reasons insanity, the burden switches to the defense. They usually wait until trial. Well, Peggy, and honestly, I think that's the thing. Is like, this is, if it's not, it's going to be a delayed trial, y'all. Right? If he pleads not guilty, you're talking about evaluators. You're talking about all kinds of people that they're going to introduce. Guys, just was it 2 days ago that I told you about Mike Jeffries, the CEO of Abercrombie and Finch? So like a year ago, he was, a little over a year ago, he was indicted on a RICO charge, right? Federal charges for S trafficking and whatever, right? For these male models. So he said that his attorney said that he was incompetent to stand trial. Well, what happened? He had to stay in a facility for like 4 or 5 months to be evaluated in that facility to see if he's competent to stand trial. And guess what? Now in December, literally a month and a half ago, they basically said, well, he can stand trial and he's competent now. He wasn't competent 4 months or 5 or 6 months ago, but he's competent now. So all of this, like medical reasons and mental health, all this stuff gets evaluated. And you're right, Peggy. So if you are pleading guilty for reasons of insanity, the burden switches to the defense and they have to wait. And then there's arguments about that, other experts that get brought in and whatnot. He said he was on a tan jumpsuit. Could it be that he can't use the victim's money to pay for counsel? Well, let me tell you what happened here. Somebody said it here, and here it is. Taillight Fairy, shout out to you, said the Slayer law prohibits him from getting parent monies, right? Therefore, AJ cannot pay. Cannot pay AJ. I think that Alan Jackson knew that he was not going to be paid based on that alone, right? Like I think that he knew that, right? So he didn't walk into a situation at the first day of his court hearing to basically say, well, I'm representing him. I think he knew that. I honestly think that this isn't even an issue of money, of him being paid. I think he kind of knew that California has a very specific law for that. So I think there was a conflict. It's either a conflict or something strategically within this group that made it an issue. You said, could it be that he can't use the victim's money to pay counsel? I said, no, he isn't. He was fighting with Alan Jackson. You said, there she is with the white headphones. Yes. Why waste good money on a fancy lawyer? He is so guilty. Well, listen me again. If they can prove reasons of insanity, yeah, I mean, it looks a little bit different as far as how guilt goes. You said New York Times reported that Nick smirked when AJ announced that he had to quit. Really? Well, Cerise, I have a subscription with New York Times, so we could definitely look into that article. Let's see. No worries. You said, in my opinion, AJ has learned something big in this case. Well, didn't Alan Jackson? I just said, y'all, he looks like he was upset. His team looks like he was upset. It looked like he was about to cry. I don't know. You said, yes, we all gonna have to wait and watch this play out, right? You said, I think the family was the one who found out the conflict of interest. Interesting. Hi, Miss Amber. You said he's gonna plead not guilty by reasons of insanity, says Miss Amber. Shout out to Miss Amber. Y'all drop some hearts for Miss Amber. Shout out to her. I don't think it's about money. I don't think it's about money. I don't know. You said, I think AJ took the case pro bono and the family was concerned he might get Nick off. I think the family found a loophole with some type of conflict of interest and demanded that he step down. Well, he said in his own words, reasons outside of Nick's control. I mean, okay. He's going to be evaluated. All of this is going to be evaluated. And please note, like, just because somebody who has schizoaffective or schizophrenia or whatever other mental health issue, just because somebody commits a crime doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get off on an insanity plea. There's a lot of people that commit crimes that don't actually, you know, they won't even fall under that. There's a specific kind of like measure to that they're going to use. They're going to see if he's competent to stand trial. They're going to see a bunch of things, you know. You said per Emily D. Baker, who knows Alan Jackson. She does know Alan Jackson personally. Oh yeah, because she was like a DA in California, right? Shout out to her. You said, I think it's an easy win for Nick with the insanity plea. They have many witnesses to call in. Well, that they do, if that's how they go. I'm behind trying to catch up, wondering if AJ was fired due to leaks. He's under a protective order and can only transfer files directly to public defenders. So that would be the protective order, right? Like all the information that's being shared. I mean, they even have the ME's, you know, website on hold. That's interesting. So you think that he's leaking information? I mean, has Alan Jackson been known for that? Yes, Alan Jackson has been known for that. I don't think it's about money, y'all. I'm telling you. You know, Alan Jackson is set. Think about all the people that he has represented. If he's walking into something, he knows what he's walking into. To him, this is like a drop in the bucket type of situation. I'm just saying, like, he can assign anybody to work with him. You know, he's got a lot of people. He has a huge firm. But somebody said, you said Alan Jackson is, I didn't know that. For what, the Karen Reed case? Because I heard that, I don't know. I didn't follow that too closely. But I don't think it's money related. Prosecutors found the conflict of interest and got him off the case. Maybe. Now that is interesting. Is that a reason? Because I didn't think that Nathan, the DA, would even give a statement. And, you know, Nathan is one of the, like, think about it. Think about all the other cases that we followed where he's the DA and, you know, it's in Los Angeles and whatnot. He had to give he felt the need to give a statement today about the fact that they were going to make sure that they were going to hold justice and he got the adequate representation because every defendant deserves a lawyer. Yeah, we know that. But he felt the need to say that. I wonder if, I do wonder if this is a situation here where the prosecutors found a conflict of interest. Maybe Alan Jackson and firm had some kind of dealing, working, or something like that, estate or other things that the Reiners did. And so in their investigatory situation with the prosecutors, they found something that would have, I don't know, added up to a conflict of interest. That's my thought on that. That would make sense. He said, because fancy lawyer gets people off crimes all the time. You think they uncovered info? Yeah, both. Could be both. You said everyone's entitled to a vigorous defense. I mean, they attempted to sue the drug company they get money from. Okay. You said he does look really mad. He didn't look like he was willing to leave the case. Alan Jackson looked like he was mad. Also possible that family was giving the money to third party to pay for counsel and the court got wind of it. Potentially. You said and if proven insanity, he will get paid from life insurance from parents. Will he? Is there a clause that says that if he's insane, he could still get paid? Wow. Rabbit, I think the kids found the conflict of interest. Okay. Maybe, yeah, he looked upset. And who got the inheritance? Name them all. Oof. You said, but if he's guilty of murder, that is the question. Does him being on off meds make a difference here? You mean like for an insanity defense? So if somebody is has mental health issues and they weren't taking their medication, right? And they were off their meds when they committed that crime, then I guess that's something that they're going to have to argue in court. Now, was it an issue of like he's choosing not to take his medication? This is why I tell you, like, just because somebody pleads insanity doesn't mean that that's, even if they have a history of mental health. There's people that just, there's markers for stuff like that. You said, no, I think the siblings paid. Ooh. You said, I doubt Jackson was worried about his money. Yeah, he's not worried about money. His words are literally notoriety and fame for his law firm. Yep. The money just put his case would be repaid. The money he puts on his case would be repaid over times. Yeah, I agree. But he didn't get convicted yet. No, he hasn't been convicted yet. The change in counsel means that Nick's plea was not entered for the 2 charges of the first-degree murder. Yeah, so he is not pled yet. Not yet. We've assumed, because of how things have been reported, that he was going to plead not guilty for reasons of insanity. I think it's a good assumption to have. Because that's kind of what we've been told. I mean, all these people, they're probably gonna interview anybody who diagnosed them with schizoaffective. They're gonna bring those doctors in, okay? They're gonna bring any psychiatrist, anybody that was prescribing his medication. They're gonna bring anybody that had him, that maybe send him off to a treatment center. They're going to bring all the close people around and whatnot. That's what they're gonna do, for sure, for sure. You said after watching the whole Karen retrial, I don't think I've seen AJ look that way. Really, Chant, that's what I'm saying. It's like he looks upset in that conference. I've seen have I seen Alan Jackson upset before in any other presser? I can't remember, but his face looks like he's very upset. Like he was fighting to stay on the case. And that's why he starts the speech by saying, for reasons outside of yada, 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 we had to remove ourselves. This is what's going on. And he can't even talk about it. Someone said in BJ's chat, there was a Friar Rose, and I think it's called, they were making jokes that Rob was passed by his father. Apparently, what do you mean passed by his podcast queen? What do you mean? Passed by his, did I say that correctly? You think Nick tossed him? I think he confessed to AJ. Potentially. He could have, and he could. He totally could. And he doesn't have to repeat anything that his client says, right? They just have to figure out how to frame the whole situation. You said, that's what I'm thinking too, that he might have represented Reiner or something like that at some point. You said he gets the house, he would be paid. I think there's something darker here. Ooh, say more. You said, yeah. So what happened? I'm confused. Y'all explain it in the chat, please. I'm trying to catch up. You said, I think the siblings were the ones who obtained AJ as a lawyer, guilty or not, their brother. It's their brother. And they're not going to just stop him. Yeah. Guilty or not. I mean, it could very well be the case. He looks upset for sure. Why did OJ pay a fancy lawyer? I don't know, because he needed it maybe. Now when will AJ be able to speak on what happened? He won't. He probably won't. He probably will never say anything. I think AJ was the parents' lawyers representing. Yeah, something to that effect. You said insanity is very hard to prove and not recommended in most cases. And I guess we would have to see what that looks like in California, right? Remember Taylor Shabusiness? Yes, I do. That's a crazy, crazy case. You said podcast quiz, Comedy Central, Reiner Rose 2000. It's 1 hour long and it's disturbing. I would play Comedy Central, but Comedy Central does copyright. So there was a Comedy Central clip. Well, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. See if I can play it there. And I think I heard that there was like this disturbing Comedy Central, right? Central. Let's see. I bet you. Oh, okay. So I watched Comedy Central roast of Rob Reiner 2000 and I have mixed feelings about it. I still can't shake the thought of a horrible tragedy. What was he making like? Okay, let's see this. Is this it right? I've never.
On a typical night, Carl would slip into Rob's bed, roll him over, swab him down.
Who's Carl? It's a joke? Who's Carl? I'm so confused by this. To be fair, right, Dory, exactly. Please stop defaming Rob Reiner. Who's defaming Rob Reiner? Darby C. Oh, that's right. That's Rob Reiner's dad, right? Carl. That's right. Because there's a. Anyways, yes. Darby, who's defaming Rob Reiner? I'm confused. All from the Friar Rose. I don't think I would base my opinion on a situation. I've never even seen it. Who's defaming? Who? Darby, let me see. I mean, I know we get trolled. I just want to make sure that you explain. What do you mean? Who's defaming who? Before, I don't want to have to block you, but I will if you're trolling. You said, I think Franklin would just joke about something like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that the jokes are funny, but okay, let's keep playing.
And say something like, I'm thinking about hiring Maury Amsterdam to play Buddy Sorrell. What do you think?
And I think Carl was a comedian, right? Carl Reiner, if I remember correctly. Because I remember looking into this back in the... Yeah, he had like a comedy show, right? So, I mean, it's not funny. I don't know. What do y'all think? All these people are sick. You said some people are trying to say Carl is doing some goofy stuff. Well, he's not here to defend himself anymore. So there's that. And I just think it's a troll, y'all. It's a troll. He said his dad. Thank you, guys. Let me go eat a Snickers. Thank you. You said he created all the In the Family. That's right. He did. Makes no sense. Carl was bigger than Rob and was famous for these jokes. Yeah, I mean, he was a comedian, and that's because when we were looking back into this, I mean, he, not funny, but that's kind of like the stuff that people get into. Dee, thank you so much for being a member for 27 months. Go hit the like button while we wait. Thank you, Dee. Thank you. Shout out to my boo, Dee. Thank you for being a member so long. Thank you. He died 6 years ago. Carl did? Wow. He said telling inappropriate jokes is what the Friars Roast was all about. It's supposed to be funny. Gotcha. Okay, let me keep playing this. I mean,
Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things.
I remember Dick Van Dyke. I do.
Dramatically, Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son.
Okay. Wow. And that's enough for me. Thoughts? War is not pretty. As from Comedy Central. Oh my goodness. It's just so much. Yeah. I mean, some stuff doesn't age very well, clearly. Well, look what that turned into. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to watch that anymore. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like, well, it's a different kind of time, I guess. I don't know. Thoughts, opinions, concerns, complaints. That's the question. It's like thoughts, opinions, concerns, complaints. What do we make of this? What do you guys think? Different time, different way of life, different is different. I don't know, man. I don't know. You said, for goodness sakes, let's not go down that. Yeah, I don't want to either. But anyways, look at this guy with the sign too. Rob Reiner, he's outside of the, oh my God. Some people are just crazy, man. You have many concerns. I'm not sure what's funny there. I mean, all of it is just crazy. I am lost for words. I just, but I was a kid when that show was on, I think too. So, I mean, is it nasty? Yeah. I'm not muted. I was really speechless. I really was. Anyways, that being said, though, it does kind of make you wonder. So a source in the New York Times, a source told the New York Times the change had nothing to do with Alan's performance and that he had been a pro. So Nick Reiner's new attorney is Kimberly Green, Well, let me tell you something. This is going to be a like if she is a public defender, this is going to be one of those cases that might set her apart in the public defender's office for sure, right? Because that would be the kind of case that you would want. Hold up, let me see what TMZ pulled on that before. So this is her. Man, they got her social media picture right away. They're like, this her? Bam, they posted it right away. So this is the new attorney, public defender Kimberly Green, who is 19 years experience. So she's not like some new lawyer. She's been doing this for a while. The judge signed off on Nick's change of legal representation and set a new arraignment date for February 23rd. Nick spoke up in court saying, yeah, I agree with that. Nick leaving the courtroom and going back to jail. He still has no bail, and Alan is about to address the media, which we just saw. Nick Reiner's lawyer is off the case, TMZ has learned, and Nick will, and at least for the time being, be represented by a public defender. Sources connected to the Reiner family with direct knowledge tell TMZ when attorney Alan Jackson appeared in court Wednesday morning in Nick's arraignment, he will inform the judge he is no longer representing Nick. Our sources say the public defender will step in for now and the case will continue. Nick will not enter a plea. And as for why Jackson is off the case, we're told the family will be releasing a statement. Well, they said absolutely nothing. TMZ reported it's likely Nick will eventually plead not guilty for reasons of insanity. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, and we're told his meds had sent him off the rails the month before the murders. Jackson is coming off a huge victory in the Karen Reed trial in Boston, where she was found not guilty for allegedly killing her boyfriend. Now, it's unclear if the public defender is a stopgap until another lawyer takes the case, or if the defender will, let me close that down, handle the case from this point forward. Okay. I guess we'll find out. I mean, they could very well hire another lawyer. Now, let me pull up the New York Times. New York Times article. Let's see. Yes. Okay, cool. Subscription is still good. So this is the article. My goodness. B. Tim, happy holidays. Thank you, B. Tim, for the $10. I'm kind of glad Nick Reiner can't use his murderous parents' money to defend himself. The main reason I think Alan left wasn't going to get paid, which nothing wrong, nothing is free. Says B. Tim. Thank you, B. Tim, for the $10. Yeah, people were speculating that too. Honestly, B. Tim, I don't think it's about the money. I think he knew he wasn't going to get paid. I don't know. Something tells me that there was probably a conflict of some sorts. So it makes me kind of wonder, well, maybe we should look into, has Alan Jackson ever represented the Reiner family in any capacity? That would be my question, like Rob Reiner or something like that, in any capacity outside of just what happened, just being a defense lawyer. That would be my question. Hold on one second, guys. One second, guys. 1 second. All right. Sorry, guys. I got a couple minutes and then I got to end. You said, nay, a case like this will cost you a boatload expert testimony. You need to get paid if you're working on this case like this. Gotcha. You said they're going to be doing arraignment plea, not guilty. Send him somewhere and to be evaluated for competency. Yeah, I mean, that's very likely how they do things. Okay, let's get into this. Nick Reiner's lawyer removes himself from the murder case. Mr. Reiner, who is charged with killing his parents, will now be represented by a public defender. Okay, we know this, and scheduled next month. So the high-profile defense attorney lawyer representing Nick removed himself, okay, and a significant departure was announced during a hearing in Los Angeles Superior Court where Mr. Reiner, wearing a brown jumpsuit, was set to be arraigned on 2 counts of first-degree murder. It may suggest that Reiner family, Nick has It may suggest that the Reiner family, Nick has 2 siblings, has distanced itself from Mr. Reiner and his legal case, at least financially. Mr. Reiner, 32, did not enter a plea on Wednesday, but spoke once in court, saying that he agreed to the delay in his arraignment. He had been represented by Alan Jackson. Of course, Alan Jackson represented Harvey Weinstein. Oh, yeah, and Kevin Spacey, too. Kevin Spacey is very broke. So there's that. And apparently the judge assigned Kimberly Green, the lawyer from the public defender's office, and everything's been scheduled for the 23rd. He did a speech. Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. So the DA of Los Angeles said in a brief conference, we've seen that this was a brutal murder of his parents. Last month, after Mr. Reiner was arrested, lawyers for the Reiner family arranged for Mr. Jackson to take the case. Okay. So lawyers for the Reiner family arranged for Mr. Jackson to take the case. So these were lawyers of Rob and Michelle Reiner. Said a person with knowledge of the situation who spoke to the New York Times on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive information. The persons emphasized that the change in Mr. Reiner's representation had nothing to do with Mr. Jackson's performance and said he had been a professional throughout the process. In a statement to the Times, spokesman for the Reiner family said they have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment any further on the matter related to the legal proceedings. The public defender's office found out on Tuesday that it would take over Mr. Reiner's case. Ms. Green told reporters on Wednesday that she had spoken briefly with Mr. Reiner. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder on December 16th after his parents were found stabbed to death. Okay, we know this. And the state charges include aggravating factors of multiple murders, meaning that if Mr. Reiner is convicted, he will face the possibility of life without a chance of parole or the death penalty. Prosecutors have not said whether they would seek capital punishment. Governor Newsom put a memorandum on executions in California 2019. Yeah, I thought that they put a hold on executions, right? So let's see. The DA, district attorney, announced the charges last month. He said the case would be particularly difficult to prosecute because of the intimacy between the victims and the accused. These cases involving families are some of the most challenging and most heart-wrenching cases that our offices face, he said. And that was that. Thoughts, opinions? An ICE agent just murdered an American woman who was an observer in Minneapolis. I'm not surprised. Speaking of that, I'm going to end this live right now, but I might do another live later because I want to review. Because you brought it up. There's other people that have been contacting me on this too. I want to show you guys something before I go. Hold up. Right here. I want to talk about this right here. And I know this is going to upset some people here, but I was watching Sean Reyes yesterday from Long Island Audit, and apparently he was detained by ICE agents, and he wasn't even at an ICE stop. He wasn't there. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. Maybe I'll go live later and we'll talk a little bit. We'll watch his video and then we'll watch what's happening over here in Minneapolis. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Bye, guys. Oh, and thank you. Shout out to the people that supported. Thank you.